special speaker with us today, Mihai Anca, who's currently working at Twitter. He graduated from computer science in Manchester 2012, last year. So it's been quite an eventful year for Mihai, I guess, and that's partly what he's going to tell us about today, what he's been doing, all the exciting stuff he's been working on. So there are some handouts about Twitter that have been handed around. There's also some very cool free sunglasses from Twitter down here at the front you can pick up at the end, and a few other freebies, so help yourself to those at the end of the talk. This is interactive, so please ask lots of questions, because Mihai's got a lot of useful useful knowledge in his head that he can pass on to you, so please ask lots of questions. Thank you. Over to you, Mihai.
Is it working okay? Cool. So thanks for the introduction, Duncan. I'm Mihai. Graduated last year from here, computer science in Manchester. Super proud of that. And as Duncan said, sure, I want a lot of questions from you, so there's a lot to cover, so I don't know what exactly you're interested most in. So feel free to ask me questions about pretty much what you can think of. So this is me. I graduated last year from Manchester. Previously, I worked at a company in Scotland called Free Agent. That was for about 2 years, so during my second and third year. I didn't do an industry experience here, because I prefer to finish a full career. But I think it's still helpful, and any experience definitely helps, especially if it's in startups or side projects or anything like that. But definitely helps. So that's what I mean. I joined Twitter last October. So I've been there for about a year now. It's going to be the second full year next week. And I'm part of the activation and messaging team, formerly called Growth. And I'll talk about what that means and what we do. So this is Twitter. How many of you use Twitter? Cool, most of you. Good job. Cool. So Twitter is sharing messages of 140 characters or less, and then it's got an asymmetrical graph. Do you know why there's 140 characters? Anybody?
Is that the amount of originally wasn't the idea to have people that can submit messages through text, and 140 characters is the SMS limit?
Yes. So originally it wasn't just for SMS, but it was it was mobile first from the beginning, and SMS is limited to 160 characters actually, but then you need some space for the username, and that's where the limit of 140 characters comes from. And you can still use Twitter over SMS, and that's how I actually got started using Twitter. I was using it over SMS, and it still works. And as I said, it's an asymmetrical graph. What that means is you don't have to be friends. This is not a mutual relationship like on Facebook. You can follow whoever you want, follow your interests, and they don't have to follow back. So that's the big difference in Twitter. And it's not just text. 140 characters isn't that much. We've got what we call Twitter cards. So whenever you make a link or you add a picture or a video, it shows up inline, and then other apps can add their own content inline depending on where you link to. And I'm not going to show up a video of what Twitter has done in the last 7 years. talk to you about Twitter is many people when they join Twitter, they're stressed about what because they don't have any ideas on what to tweet to. And that's a big misconception. You don't have to tweet anything to be on Twitter. You can just follow your interests. Like actually, like not even half of our users actually tweet anything. So you don't have to tweet anything to enjoy Twitter, to like follow whoever you think are interesting, to get the news or anything. So I mean, it's up to you if you want to create as well. But most people don't create, and so don't feel stressed that you don't like know what to tweet in that time. Revenue, another thing that some people, I mean, I'm not sure how you know about it. Twitter does make money and makes a pretty good amount of money. Doing pretty well. So we've got a few products that we get money to support the product. You can promote trends, and you can pay to appear in the trend section. You can promote your accounts, and you can promote tweets. One thing is what we do is we pride ourselves that our ads are pretty relevant and not intrusive. I mean, we don't just want to show Twitter full of ads. So we only show things that are relevant to you, like maybe some friend follows that account that we promote or it has interacted with that tweet. So we want we want to only push relevant ads, and that's how we think we can make enough money up to this. Now what growth? That's the main thing I've been doing at Twitter, and it's actually like a pretty big, sort of relatively new idea in the tech world. So I told you that I've been working in the formerly called Twitter growth team, now called activation messaging, but we still do the same thing. What growth means is basically like people dedicated to just getting people engaged with the product and just using it and getting as many people in the product as well. Facebook started this with like having their first growth team in around 2006. Twitter had their growth team in 2009, and then like Dropbox, Quora, Airbnb, pretty much most major tech companies have a growth team working just on adding users and keeping them engaged. About a bit about growth, there's like four main areas that we focus on. So if you think about like a funnel, that's what we call it, because users trickle at the top and just come out at the bottom. You're trying to be like sort of like triangle as possible. So you've got the top of the funnel, which means getting people to hear about Twitter and getting them to Twitter.com. So that can be like SEO on Google, that can be invites, that can be some emails, cross-posting, maybe you post your tweets on Facebook and somebody hears about Twitter, or even like TV promotions of posters, you can hear about Twitter that way. The next thing is activation. So once you get on Twitter and like, you make an account, we want you to make an account and like use it. So that means making you add a photo of you, like add a bio, complete your profile, get people like relevant people to you to follow. Then once we get you on Twitter, that's super cool. We have to keep you on Twitter because maybe you get bored. So this is all our retention, what we call retention efforts. So we've got weekly emails about like top things in your network. We've got push notifications. Keep recommending users for you to follow to keep you engaged. And now some of our users just don't stop using Twitter. So one of the things another area of focus for the growth team is resurrection. So if you stop using Twitter, we find out why and get you back. So we do that mostly using email and push, because that's if you're not on Twitter.com, that's how we can reach you. And we've done a lot of work in that. So as I mentioned, Twitter is like growing a lot. So our latest public figures are over 200 million active users every month. About half of them are active every day. We've got more than 400 million unique visitors to Twitter.com, and there's more than half a billion tweets every day sent on Twitter. That's way more than tweets than in the first year of Twitter. Now let's talk about engineering on Twitter. How it is to be an engineer. What do we do? So we use a lot of open source software. Twitter is based on open source software, and we like to contribute a lot of that. So these are some of the main languages we use. We use Scala, that's mostly for our backend, Java for some bits, Ruby for Twitter run stats real time, opposed to like MapReduce, which is sort of like batch processing. We use Storm, and that's we open source that and use that for like stats, recommendations, live recommendations. So like how many clicks are on a G-coding, or how many clicks are on emails, things like that. That's like things that happen all the time. We don't get like an accurate count. And another thing I want to mention is FlopDB. Like if you've ever wondered like how we like store all these like graphs and like hundreds of millions of users and all the following relationships between like the tweet and who tweeted it and who retweeted it, like who favorited. Well, it's all open source, so you can like if you want to look at the source code, it's all open source. It's written in Scala, so I mean if you want to like make a Twitter clone, you could use this to make a Twitter clone. Or if you just want to like learn how we actually like store everything, it's all in the open because we believe in open source. This is GitHub page. I mean, if you wanna, we've got hundreds of projects there. If you wanna take a look at them or maybe contribute, you can just get them. Another thing we're super proud of is innovators patent agreement. You may have heard about like patent trolls and patent lawsuits and issues in especially the United States, because in Europe there's the legal scene is a bit different. Basically, what Twitter like legal department thought of is it's an agreement between Twitter and the engineer who made the patent that we're only ever going to use the patent defensively, and the engineer owns the patent, and without the engineer's consent, we can't sue any other company. So that's very innovative in the area, because no other company actually like wrote a legal document like this, and it's something we're super proud of. Many other companies like use this as well because they want to use the patent just defensively. They want to like go around and sue people. So we did this. Now I'm going to talk about the positions we've got. So there's 3 main areas for new grads and interns in Twitter University. So we've got a generic position for new grads. That's like everybody who's a new grad should apply for that. And then like we're going to talk to you and like your areas and like what you want to do, and we'll match you with a team, and you're gonna do what you like. I mean, if you want to do like iOS or Android or web or platform, then we'll match you with a similar team. And it's certain you can move inside Twitter. If you want to do anything else, you'll be free. And even like across offices, we've got like people in Boston and New York keep telling us to move there. So yeah, it's pretty open. Another position is data scientist. So if you're not like super into data science programming, there's a position which it's mostly about like the math, statistics. So what you do is you process a lot of data and like make up results and get some conclusion out of those. For instance, you analyze the results for experiments to see maybe if you can scale it up or not. I don't know, you analyze the behaviors and Twitter, like you think some users do something and maybe we should start focusing on that area or not. So we've got a few data scientists embedded in our teams, as well as the analytics teams. So you can, if you're interested in that, there's a bit of computer science. You use something like R, Hadoop, and Tape, but it's less like coding and more like you should be like pretty good at like stats and math. run like hundreds of experiments on anything. So probably if you look at your Twitter.com or mobile phone, it's in just subtle ways different than your friends. I mean, it's impossible to not be in an experiment. So that's how we do things at Twitter, especially in the Growth team, because we want like hard results. And given hard results, it's like super easy to argument why we should do something or not. Another thing is, if you got an idea about something, you totally don't need anyone's approval to run some experiments. So our CEO came up to us like about 6 months ago and just told us that if you've got an idea, like feel free to run it. You don't need any approval for anyone else. You can just go do it and like see the metrics. So I think that's super cool. I'm not sure how many companies do that, but I mean, I certainly like it a lot. You get like a lot of freedom to experiment, just do whatever you want. And then you should be entrepreneurial. And as well as that, like a lot of Twitter engineers and like the management came from entrepreneurial positions in startups and acquisitions. For instance, the director of growth or activation messaging, so like my manager, he was the co-founder and CEO of High Five and Vivo. And then we've got like a lot of people acquired. So my manager has been in a company called Summify, and he's been acquired. And we've acquired a lot of other companies. And like they proved that they can like get companies running, and they're pretty good at it. So I mean, it makes a lot of value as a growth engineer. This is one of our core values. It's called innovate through experimentation. We've got several core values, which is things we think are like absolutely core to what we do at Twitter. So one other thing, for instance, is ship it, because we want to get shipped things sooner. But like for growth, I think this is like the biggest core value, because everything we do starts with experiment, and using experiments we like iterate a lot, and we find what's best and what works best. Because sometimes there's a lot of surprising results. Because I mean, even you guys, I mean, you're computer scientists. I think you're pretty good with like phones and computers and everything. But then like the vast majority of people using Twitter, they're like casual people. They don't know a lot of technology. So maybe if something makes sense for us and we totally think we should do it and we absolutely like it, but maybe like 80% of the people, it just doesn't work. I mean, they get stuck, or they just don't understand how to do something. So if you experiment and if you test it, then you can easily see like the results. Now I'm going to talk to you a bit about what I did at Twitter. So my first team that I've been in was in email. So this is what we call the network digest. So this is every day or every week, depends on how you schedule, or maybe you want to drive. You get such an email with some of the best tweets and stories from your network. The entire of this thing is done by the email team. So what it means, we've got a lot of big jobs and MapReduce jobs that crunch the data to generate recommendations, and they're all unique to everybody. So because we value more what your friends do on Facebook, on Twitter, than what you do, you like to get a unique result. Then we experimented a lot. So in my first week at Twitter, I actually shipped an experiment and then like fully rolled out on how to make the subject line for this email. I mean, you might think it's something like super small, but like even like a 0.5% increase in like open rate, it matters, because people open the email and then they click on the link and then they go to twitter.com. So now we get people back on Twitter. So we experimented on the algorithm that picks which users and to appear in the subject line, or like actually what subject line to be. We found out that adding users in the subject line helps the most. And then we done like a lot of experiments. For instance, how many tweets do we show up? Should we show like links and then the tweets that linked pointed to that link, or should we just show just tweets and tweets won, because that's what we do. I don't know how many, like the picture size, how many users to show, the ordering of tweets. Like we experimented on like a bunch of things to come up with like what actually performed the best. This is another set of emails that I worked on from the ground up. So this is for you to get feedback on what happens to retweets and the tweets were mentioned. Because previously, if you retweeted something, you didn't have any idea if somebody actually saw it on your timeline, or just because they saw the original tweet. So this gives you some feedback if somebody favorites or retweets one of your retweets, or a tweet you're mentioned in. So I wrote everything from like this color code. Like I met with the teams that do the platform. So when like the service the last about 6 months, I moved to working on IS. I'm still in the same team, but because I like IS a lot, I'm like a big Apple fan, and I've had the opportunity. I mean, I could have worked on IS products. So most of them are like various stages of being experimental results. So I can't talk specifics, but I can tell you like I've worked in the Connect tab and some other parts of the app. And if you think like if your Connect tab looks different than somebody else's, then that's when you put it there. That's one of the things I like at Twitter. Like you can just work on things that you like and you're passionate about. So I was passionate about iOS, and I didn't like previously like actually like ship any app in the App Store. But Twitter, like I learned a lot, and then like I got to ship code in the Twitter main app. And at the same time, for instance, like interns or some other people in my team, they wanted to do Android, and they did the same like matching features on Android as well. They learned Android, and then just get the freedom to like work on what you like and focus on other things, and learn other things, and just not get stuck in like the same project. So I mentioned I did iOS and my friends did Android. Well, and I also did Scala at the beginning. Well, I didn't actually know Scala. Most people don't know Scala when they join Twitter, but that's not a problem. We've got this thing called Twitter University, which means we've got courses on. There's a lot of courses on for you to learn. For instance, we've got a Scala course, a few Scala courses actually. We've got an Android full week course, which I did, even though I just being curious about Android. So I mean, everybody was okay for me taking a week off from my regular work, just learning how to do Android. We've got courses on iOS. We do regular meetups on Android and Pig and Hadoop and some other stuff. We post some of them on YouTube because we think, I mean, why not share them? So even if you like, you don't have to like, if you take a course, you don't have to like use it, like do whatever the course says. Like most interns like to go to a lot of courses. I mean, it's a great opportunity for you to learn a lot. Like it's for free, and why not? So I mean, if you come on Twitter, I highly encourage you to like look at all the courses you've got, and they're constantly expanding. So I've recently been to an iOS testing course, and adding lots and lots of courses. So, and in addition to that, like the first week at Twitter, you've got the Flight School, because everything at Twitter is named after birds, which is like a week where you learn about what we do at Twitter and like all the like subsystems and how to navigate your way around the code base, and how we do growth and how we do mobile and what teams there are at Twitter, and like so you have a rough idea about if you need any help, where you should look to on the wiki, who you should talk to, how we ship things and how we experiment. So I think that was like extremely helpful. Like in my first week, I was like overloaded with like things to learn, and like the wiki is like Wikipedia. It's like there's tons of material about pretty much what you can imagine. I don't know. There's like one thing that I like, for instance, it's like from the field, small things like autocomplete back in the search field. Like if you want Twitter.com on top, there's a search field, and if you type something into it, it like autocompletes, but it's personalized as well. So I found it like super interesting how that's done. There's like big wiki pages and how they did it and all the algorithms behind it and like how they ranked it, and like it uses the graph, for instance, to like do like random walks around the graph, and then it like ranks users. So there's a ton of material for you to learn, and I think that's one of the best things of Twitter. Now let's talk a bit about the culture. How I've told you about the university, and another thing we hold like super nice at Twitter is Hack Week. 1 week a quarter, so that's 4 weeks a year. The whole company takes some time off, just hack on anything you like. So here's a video to show.
Once a quarter, we have a thing called Hack Week. So literally 5 full work days where you just get to go crazy and work on anything you want.
What it is it's a moment for people to be creative. The only real rule for Hack Week is that it has to do with Twitter.
Maybe 100 or something things have shipped. Twitter for Mac started out as a Hack Week project. It's not like trivial punch the monkey kind of games, it's big stuff.
It's really mind-boggling every Hack Week as to the variety of really cool ideas and really interesting implementations that people have created in just 4 days.
One of my teams worked on a Hack Week project. Basically, it was the ability for anyone to download all of their tweets from the beginning of their attack creation. I would have to say that that was probably a great example of how something at Hack Week was possible because we give people the space and the freedom to try new things.
Having this experience as an intern, I feel like I almost learned as much as I do in the semester of school. The sheer volume of engineering challenges here at Twitter is amazing. Like, deploying your code and seeing like hundreds of millions of users interact with your code is awesome. Like, you'll be watching the dashboard as soon as you deploy your code. That rush you get as a developer, you can't even describe it unless you experience it here.
On Friday is when everybody sort of presents what they've been working on. All the company comes and sort of checks out what's going on. So there's a ton of energy and there's a ton of community that's built.
Everyone has passions that don't relate to their job that they do on the side. Some of those passions come out during Hack Week.
These moments happened first on Twitter. This is a world you can be a part of by joining Twitter and experiencing these moments.
It's a wonderful feeling when you are chosen as one of the top few products because you know that it came from your fellow employees.
What's amazing is that you can create something in so short a time. That's the best thing there is. That's why I love Hack Week.
Yeah, that's Hack Week, and it's really awesome. You can just work on pretty much everything you want. I mean, it has to be vaguely related to Twitter. I mean, people have done things from like using the Wi-Fi signals to geolocate people for the building, and things that have shipped, like the ones, so the ability to export all your tweets, or Twitter for Mac, or Bootstrap, or like pretty much like anything you can think of, you can use. You've got time to work on. And you've also seen like some brief snapshots about our office in San Francisco. So I'm going to show you a few more. So this is our office. It's in downtown San Francisco on Market Street, like really close to the subway and really good transport connections. We've got the last 3 floors of this building, and since the picture was taken, we've actually built 2 more floors up because we couldn't fit anymore. We've got some website like similar to Topcoder or like ACM sites, sort of. You just type your code there, it compiles, it runs tests, and it gives us a score. And depending on that score, you move on to the next phase or not. Then you've got 1 or 2 phone interviews. They're over Skype, and what it means, you live code with somebody. So they give you questions, and you've got like a sort of Google Notes live website where you can just type your code. The person instantly sees it, and yeah. All of our interviews are 45 minutes. That's pretty standard for most tech companies, I guess. And you've got some time at the end for questions. Then after the phone screens, if everything is okay, if you're a new grad, you come for 4 to 6 interviews on site. That's back to back with a lunch break, so you can freshen up. If you're in a hurry, usually we do them on Skype. Or for interns, we do them on Skype. We don't fly interns there. So for interns, there's only 3 usually interviews on Skype, but back to back, so like a full block of 3 interviews. And being an active Twitter user might help you. I mean, sometimes people just ask, well, what would you do if you worked at Twitter? Well, like, what feature would you change and how would you implement it? So, I mean, you certainly don't have to use Twitter. There's a lot of people who started Twitter who didn't actually use Twitter, but I think it helps. So, a few tips for your interviews. So, as I said, they're all mostly algorithms and CS. So, my advice to you is like practice. Practice as much as you can. I mean, there's no substitute for practice. One good book is Cracking the Code Interview. It's by the work of Google, I think. And there's a big list of problems similar to what like most tech companies do and their solutions. So I think that's a pretty good way to train. There's this website that has another interviews type questions, and they're like live, sort of like live style. It's the same as I talked to you about like your first interview questions. You can have your code there, and it's gonna run the tests, and once you pass, I think you can see the solutions of everybody else. You can see how you prepared. But yeah, my advice is for you to just practice as much as you can. That's about it for me. And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask.
Any questions from anyone? I was going to ask, engineering, we did talk about engineering opportunities. Are there any engineering opportunities in Europe for people who have been making that huge step across the Atlantic to California?
Definitely. So there's a 3-day team and there's an international team, which is actually the same team as activation and messaging, so our team, which is based in London. And yeah, I mean, because some people have visa issues, we bring them to London. So definitely.
Any other questions?
And most interns prefer to come to San Francisco because as an intern it's super easy to get a visa, and like why not come to San Francisco? Yeah.
Any more questions? Yeah.
What did you work on during Hack Week this year?
Oh, well, the first time I actually maintained some like technical debt because I wanted to get more familiar with Codebase and started writing some automated tests for the network digest and for some of our big jobs because we didn't have any, and then some tools to help us on that.
Nice.
Do you regard Facebook as a direct competitor or just do you target different markets?
I don't think it's a direct competitor. I use both, so many people use both, so I don't really know.
Did you have work experience before graduating?
Yep. So as I mentioned, I was working in Free Agent in my second and third year, and then previously I worked with a startup in Romania. So yes, I did.
And do you think that's essential?
Yes. I mean, I don't think it's. I mean, you can certainly do it without. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't, but certainly helps, especially like internships helps a lot because I think you just get to know, and there's another like year you can practice on interviews. So I mean, especially like try to interview with as many tech companies as you can, just to at least get a feel of how the interviews is and how the interviews are and like practice.
side to it is that, are you ever pressured to work long hours? Are there any sort of safety balances and checks to make sure that people don't kind of burn out? Because this can be a problem.
People actually don't work that long. I mean, I mean, as I told, like on Friday, like if you find, I mean, I was surprised if like somebody at 5 p.m. will be actually working. They're all like out drinking.
Doesn't sound like it's a problem.
I mean, we're not paid by the hour, so I mean, there's no pressure because I don't think in long term it's like you're actually being effective if you just work long hours. I mean, you're going to get burned out. Nobody wants this, so I mean, there's seldom like a few times where like we're pushed for deadlines, but generally we don't have deadlines. I mean, when something ships, it ships. I mean, we're not tied by a deadline. So no, you're not pressured, and people don't like work late hours unless you want to. I mean, it depends on your schedule. For instance, my team, because we're mostly like young and we sleep late, we usually come to work at like 11. I mean, we skip breakfast and come to work at 11, just almost in time for lunch. And then we stick around until like dinner is at 7. And I mean, sometimes you might like answer some emails. I mean, it depends on your workload. You might work a bit, or just go. So I mean, depends. People with kids usually like come in a lot earlier, but they leave like 5, 6. So I mean, it's all up to you. I mean, people don't work that long.
And one more question. What's the most popular Twitter client you have later on, like the most used Twitter client? Is it, I guess it's mobile, is it? Or rather than desktop?
Oh, so amongst the Twitter clients?
Yeah.
I'm not sure because we don't we only comparing the same like target because I mean it doesn't make sense to comparisons. But I think Android is probably the biggest. I'm not sure how it compares to Twitter, but I think amongst mobile, Android is the biggest just because Android has a bigger market share.
Even bigger than iOS?
Yeah. I mean it has the biggest market share. I mean Twitter is pretty like, I mean statistically I think it's about the same as the market share. So.
Any more questions? Before we thank Mihai, I just want to say Manchester Coding Dojo, Mary, can you stand up please, Mary? The Manchester Coding Dojo is meeting immediately after this, starting before 3 o'clock, in the CoLab, where they're going to work through some of the coding interview questions that Mihai was talking about. So this is a good opportunity to maybe speak to Mihai in a bit more of an intimate setting than a lecture theatre. So they'll be going through that. So unless there's any other questions,